Wisdom Hypno Acuity. But tonight it's a Cowboy Wisdom podcast. 7 ways why I never failed in my physical world. Now awaken to understand this. I never failed in my physical world. I failed in here. Because I'd step back and I'd listen to the outside world. I'd do what I've always done. And I'd get those same results, but I would blame it on the outside world. I'd blame it on people. I'd do everything, but be responsible for it. And that's what I really want to tell. It was my egotistical arrogance, my know-it-all ignorance, having to look good in other people's eyes, my insecurities, immaturity from my inner dialogue that comes from here up, my viewpoints, beliefs, opinions, trying to get other people's advice, trying to use other people's advice, never listening or questioning myself internally. That's why I really realized I failed, because I never listened to me. So I fail in here. And when I awakened to this, to understand this, I said, wow, the outside world is innocent. The outside world is like a movie. It shows me the good, the good, the mediocre, and the chaos. The good is the outcome. The chaos is my awakenings. It's celebrating Hellraiser's acumen, opening, safaring, savvy to go through life. But we're so busy trying to keep up and think, oh, that guy did this person did this did this did, and why did this happen? That was basically because I was never listening to me. And see, that's something I really opened up to, is I have to listen to my free-flowing energy in here. And see, we're so trying to heal and forgive people. And all we do when you forgive somebody, you're really wound up and stuck in your own memory mind, and you stay stuck in that memory mind. Then you're worried about what other people think. I was. What are other people going to say? How am I going to be made fun of? How's the ridicule and the gossip going to go? Then I try to look good in other people's eyes, trying to please other people. Then I try to fix the situation in the physical world rather than question my way through it because once you understand the quality of life, the quality of questions is the quality of life you live. It's open-ended questions. And we stay stuck in our apathetic comfort zone because nothing is getting upset or in any turmoil within ourselves. Because we think the outside world is guilty of everything. And the outside world is innocent. That is something I've really come to understand. And all the business and education in the world will never rise you out of a situation. It'll help. But a lot of it, how's that same situation showing up tomorrow? If you look at the world today, we're trying to go through life with like AI and computers, but the computers and AI have no clue what's going on in the physical world. So we're really becoming cloned, stuck inside AI and a computer. And a computer will never rise the world out of where it's at because there's no innovation, imagination, or innovation inside a computer. So the world has become computerized, and we're becoming controlled by the computers. And what I'm really saying is, to me, that's why I never failed in the external world. I failed in here because now I'm looking for the easy way out. I was good at that. That was one of my specialties. But what I really have come to understand, we went from a farming country under Reagan, we went from small farms to becoming corporate farms. And as we've let go of our attachment to Mother Earth, we've let go of the attachment to our own wisdom, insight, and our spirit prowess. And that's something I've really opened up to within myself, because my wisdom and insight will rise me as my thinking, knowing bestows me into this. And what I'm really saying is we got to start realizing we fail in here because we don't trust our own abilities, agilities, acumen, and audacity to rise. How many times do you make something feel good and call it healed? But yet that inkling of that memory and the events and the feelings and emotions are still alive in here. See, we rise, we think as long as we fix the head or the brain, we're good, or the mind, we're good. The subconscious mind is in here, for mine is anyway. You got to liberate the body from the situation. But we're always trying to do it with a thinking and knowing, and thinking and knowing takes you to yesterday. And how do you use your thinking and knowing make today yesterday? That's something I really awakened to. On my voyage through this in 1997, I started this. And I really noticed I'd listened to all the stuff. And then I was listening to some of the business tapes, and I realized they wanted me to be a follower of the boss of corporate America. They'd say, go do this, go in. They never taught individual leadership. Most business colleges and courses don't teach individual leadership. It's something I've really awakened to, and I'm going to do a podcast on this. The blue collar leadership will rise us out of this situation. The white collar is just followerocracy of corporate America. And how are we stuck in following corporate America thinking we're rising? Capitalism is just socialized corporate. Capitalism is socialized as corporate socialism. When you realize we've been doing the same thing pretty much since 1984, yet we're expecting different results, we're living a definition of insanity. But here's the situation. And see, that's why we never failed in the physical world. We failed in here because we never questioned the external world. We followed it, stayed in the turdocracy and the torment of ourselves. How many of you stay in the torment of yourself to feel safe? I have, still do. That's the thing I like about all these gurus. They always tell you this, but most of them have never done it to themselves. Everything I speak about and everything I talk about, I've done to myself. This is a sovereign, liberating lingo, and for you to rise. But here's the thing I really discovered in myself is I was trying to blame the outside. Well, that guy did this. This guy did that. That person did this. If they had did this for me or that for me, I did good. That's a lie. They did what was for them. See, everybody has a right to live their life, but we thinking everybody owes us something. All I'm owed from the external world is the events and encounters and experiences to rise me out of my ancestor anchored asinineness. Because the more I witness this, the more I realized how stuck in my anchors, my ancestor anchored survival mode thinking I was. What I really want people to open up to and realize the business world is taught by a third world enslaving mindset. We have an enslaving mindset and a survival mode thinking, and that's where the world is stuck in today. Oh, we think all this computers and the medicine is really good, but here's the thing about all of it. You can't trust none of it because your innovation in here will rise you out of it. So that's why I never failed in the physical world. I failed to question myself and question the world from in here. The questions the world has a needs is an invitation for us to question the world, because people will rise us out of the situations we're in. It's like, if we go like a war, this is something I really opened up to. It's like World War II, and let's just use any of them. But in the war, the generals set up the offensives, but the troops win the offensive because they're the ones physically in it. And see, that's where the world is today. We think computers and business and all this fancy stuff is going to rise us out of it. It's going to be the inspiration, innovation of people. And usually it's people that are willing to question themselves. Individuals will rise us out of there, out of the situation or the challenges we're in today. Business and education are what caused the situation today. So you got to admit to what it is before you can move forward in life. And people do have the innovation and the wisdom, but it's stop blaming the outside world for anything except for being a movie screen to show you your inner limitations, the good, the bad, and the indifferent in here. That's what I really had to open up to and understand. I am the one that is controlled by the outside world because I allow it and I never question myself in here. And when you open up to rise above the manipulation of the whole socialized system, you kind of go, whoa, because you discover we've been doing the same thing basically since the beginning of time. But now we're going to unwind the time and have the divine dreamer's dexterity rise us out of it. People will rise us out of this situation. But we got to open up to understand corporate America is taught to make money. And they use ours. But it's the individual entrepreneur that's going to raise the wealth of the world. Because to me, we've been taught selfishness. This world is too stuck in convenience and selfishness to move forward. Trust me, I'm stuck in convenience. I'm rising out of the selfishness, but the convenience is where I get stuck. But I'm okay with convenience. But what I'm really saying is you never fail in the physical world. You fail to trust and question yourself to rise out of the situation, because that situation the wisdom is in here, and you're going to listen your way through everything. It's really basically listen, observe, and witness the situation and ask questions of the situation. Where's the wisdom? Why am I apprehensive? But get questions that takes the angst out of it. Because whenever something happens in the physical world, you're going to think it's in the physical world when it's actually in here. And here's where the wisdom, the wisdom is in here for you to rise out of the situation. And see, when you got the courage to rise and the audacity to energize the wisdom within you, you open the pathways of triumph. And see, something else I really, really let go of is solutions and answers, because they lock you in. I listen for the pathway out of it. And as long as I'm listening for a pathway, I'm never stuck in the box. Thinking, knowing, answers, solutions, everything we learned in school is a box. And you stay inside that box, you never get to walk out into the world with the wisdom, optimism, realizing life dares you to expand through it. That's the thing about life. Life is a dare. It's a liberating invitation, fostering emancipating events, encounters, and experiences for us to rise. And we weren't sent to earth to just do everything that was told to us. We were sent here to appreciate the invitations of rising the world to peace and prosperity. But however, there's things that intervened that kept us in society. And something I really awakened to is we've been taught to stay inside the boundaries of what somebody else wants us to know, think, and do. And it isn't our government or it isn't the school system. There is some enslaving felons in this world that want to control us. And they're doing a fine job. But when you awaken to who them enslaving felons are, you can start rising out of them. Because people encompass the wisdom, insight, and clarity to rise out of the situations. And something I'm really going to be quite blunt about, we have no leadership that wants to rise us out of the situation we're in, whether it's whatever. Corporations and the government, they don't want to rise us out of it. They want to keep us in it and give us just enough to think they're doing something. People will rise us out of it. Innovation, intuition, because we never pay. We ain't paying for the legislation that will rise us out of it. See, that's the people that really control the money. They control us, but they don't control our wisdom. And see, that's something that nobody can take from you is your wisdom and innovation to rise out. And I use innovation over create because I only like using words I feel here, but that means nothing. But innovation will rise us out of it. But how do you think you failed in the physical world and you actually failed right here? How does it feel? How liberating does it feel to know you failed in here so you can question it and rise out of it and understand the whole outside world shows me my limitations, barriers, blockages I think are out there, but they're actually in here. That is something I really, really adhere to now because when something is happening in the physical world, I say, okay, what am I being showed? And for me, when I get grumpy and kind of mad at the world and everything is wrong in this, I say, aha, something's leaving and something's coming in. And I'm kind of just going through limbo is what I call it. It's just there's no attaching to it. And I just ask what's leaving, what's letting go, what's leaving and what is entering my life. And that kind of starts my subconscious mind on a little voyage of letting go and expanding out of it. But when you open up to understand and ask yourself this question, why have I never failed in the physical world? Realizing and admitting I failed in my inner landscape. What I really failed is trusting my abilities and my wisdom and insight and the courage to step up and step back. See, when we fail, we step back when we should step forward. And I'm guilty of this one. I'm really I was a culprit of this. I mean, like let's say you're having a situation in school or on a job, and it's time for you to stand up and step up and stick up for yourself, and you step back. I have. Everything everybody says they haven't done, they've probably done. I have. But that's when the insecurities, immaturity take over, and that's where the fears come in. Then we set a boundary. We're not going over there. As soon as you set a boundary, you strengthen and deepen them fears within you. Because fear is a subconscious representation of something that protected you way back when or sometime in your life. And you got to have the courage to say, okay, I have this situation. Where has this happened or occurred in my life? And you just start kind of questioning yourself and letting yourself float back. And you'll usually find out it comes from your parents. And I've done that a lot because most of my limitations were engraved in between the womb and 5 years old, but all through my school years. And see, I was never the tall, I was the shortest person in the class. And, that kind of awakened me until you get to realize it isn't the size, It's the heart. That really opens you up. But so when you really realize you've never failed, you just were afraid of your own talents. And you were scared of your talents. I'm going to say that again. I've never failed in the physical world. I was scared of my talents and I was afraid of my uh, courage to step forward in that situation. So then it become a habit whenever that situation occurred or something similar, I step back. Once you start stepping back, you just become insecure and immature and afraid, and you just keep stepping back. And that's what I've done in my life. But until I realized stepping back just pushed me back into the quicksand of the bland. So now step forward. And usually you can think of all the things that happen, but usually they're never as unsavory as you think. Because we've been taught ourselves to exaggerate and think it is. How do you exaggerate the situation and to blow the drama and trauma up within you? I know I have. But now I try to break everything down into 10 to 12 words. It's like going down the highway and having a flat tire. And you go across the median over into the other side of traffic, come back, almost hit the Jersey barrier, a semi, and another car, but you come to rest on the side of the road. And the story, the nowography of it is, I had a flat tire, changed flat tire, I'm on my way. All the rest of it is just an embellished story. And see, that's why I don't tell the story of my past. It's just the events that expanded me to here. Take the drama of self-help, personal growth, and self-improvement and all the psychology things. Throw away the toleration and just be honest and step forward and appreciate the situation and be grateful that you got the courage to do it. I want to thank everybody. I am Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom and Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity. And may your day be as blessed as you are a blessing to me in the world. And I'll be here tomorrow night with 7 ways why I've never had an argument in the physical world. Thank you.